Do you know the Italian Mafia gets credit indirectly for the Gay Pride Month? Did you know this? Did you know in New York City, the mob ran by Fat Tony Loria, not Salerno, the boss, Fat Tony Loria, who was connected to the Genovese family, they owned the only gay club in town. And it was dirty, it was nasty, no water, toilet, the place smelled horrible. They overcharged for drinks, they made money. It was a form of having blackmail of people that would go to this underground gay club, because at that time, you couldn't go to a gay club. If they found out you had any kind of things, you could get a fine, you could have a lot of different things that can happen. There was this one club that Italian Mafia decided to open up called Stonewall. That led to the current Pride Month that we're celebrating today. So thank you to the Italian Mafia for starting the Pride Month. We're going to talk about that today. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So by the way, I want to show you this article written by the New York Daily News on July 6th of '69. Tell me if they can write anything like this today. You ready? Homo nest raided. Queen bees are stinging mad. Imagine if New York Times wrote that today. Okay, imagine if I don't even know if Babylon Bee can write that today. However, in the 50s and 60s, you gotta know the climate. At that time, if you were gay and you went to a bar, they couldn't serve you alcohol. If they did, they can revoke that bar's license. You just couldn't do it, period, at this time. In 1952, just to kind of tell you what it was qualified, that is like 73 years ago, not that long ago, homosexuality was listed as a sociopathic personality disturbance in DSM-1, and just until 1973 is when the APA removed homosexuality from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders in December of '73. That's when they did it. So imagine 50s, 60s, this is happening. The mob looks at this and says, look, we don't have a liquor license, open this place up, underground, sell whatever kind of cheap liquor that we can make to sell these guys, overcharge it, it's gonna be fine. The place is nasty, smells horrible, things are going bad. And this place was a hot spot for drag queens, transgender youth, many of them allegedly working as prostitutes that you would read about. New York's poor and homeless. Stonewall was a cash cow for the Genovese family. They're making a lot of money coming in underground. Wealthy, influential, closeted men would go there. And imagine, we hear a lot of bribery stuff, Diddy, Epstein, all this stuff, but you go there, and you knew this, we read stories about this through Roy Cohen, that Roy Cohen would put parties and a lot of influential people would come. They would go into the bedroom and then boom, then they get the video and then you're watching, okay, I have this on you. You better do this favor for me, pass this bill, pass this permit. There's some kind of control there as well. Now it gets out of control. This entire time they're paying the cops to bribe them. Leave us alone, leave us alone, leave us alone. All that is happening until all of a sudden, crisis breaks out at this place. Everything's going good for these guys until June 28, 1969. Whether it's because, they stopped paying the bribes to the cops, or the cops are just finally sick of it, saying this is getting rowdy. People are showing up. We got to put a stop to this. They come in to want to shut this place down. So they come in, they're like, hey, what's going on over here? They bring cops to take the transgender or guys that are dressed as women, whatever you want to call it, into the bathroom saying, what are you? Okay, this is a guy, take him over here. Okay, this is a lady, she's fine, whatever. They're going through this process, right? And then all of a sudden, people are getting mad, they're getting upset, they're throwing stuff at the place, rocks, 600 people show up. It's getting chaotic at this point. They're tearing the place that they go to congregate, to hang out. The only place that they have that's only 2 miles away from Studio 54, they're destroying the facility. So at this point, think about the cops, they're having bricks being thrown at them. They're like, guys, what are we gonna do? They barricade themselves inside the club. So cops are inside the club now, inside Stonewall. Like the whole smelly, everything that's going on, they're inside. What do? The place they go to, they try to set the place on fire. This is where the whole thing, Pride Month, started with this. This was the beginning, boom! Riots, protesting, similar to BLM protesting. Obviously the motive was a different motive, but that's how this whole protesting got started back on June 28, 1969. So a lot of times you'll hear a name, a face being used from this whole Stonewall that, 4 a.m., this is going on, they're rioting, 600 people showing up, all this other stuff. You'll hear Malcolm Michaels Jr., AKA Marsha Johnson, your face of this, so brave. While, many reports say that, he was passed out down the street on heroin, doesn't show up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Protests started very early. But this is the face of it, right? Oh my God, no, it's not that he was on heroin. Those are the claims that they're not accurate. And then a lot of times they'll say, well, Marsha Johnson was a transgender and all this other stuff. You can go research it yourself. Marsha Johnson never called himself a transgender. He would say transvestite or a drag queen or a gay man, but he hadn't gone through the whole procedure, but they need the story. So this was going on, and they're rioting and they're protesting, they're turning cars over. I mean, just visualize these strong gay men turning it over. Like, that's some powerful stuff to be able to do. I mean, setting garbage on fire, pelted of officers with bricks and other debris. All of this happening at the same time. This is an intense protesting with a lot of tough gay men and women that are there on that day. So at this point, it's crazy. The riots go till 4 o'clock in the morning. 13 people are arrested. This riots continues for 4 days, nonstop. Everyone's reporting on it. Newsweek's writing about it. Cops are telling what happened about it. Some of them don't want to admit to it. Some of them will tell them what's going on. A year later, this becomes a ritual. Every year on Christopher Street, let's do this protesting out there and go and do our pride. They don't call it a pride event. They call it the gay rights activists that they held this once year called the Liberation Day March, okay? Became the first ever gay pride parade. And then obviously spreads all across the country. So now this movement continues nationwide, 70s, 80s, you got the AIDS epidemic, which roughly 89,000 people died in America, 87 to 89,000 people died in America because of AIDS, worldwide 400,000. It's a topic of discussion. Everyone's talking about it. Then in 1999, the man had a very good friend that was very helpful to him at the office, Bill Clinton. He decides to declare June as the Gay and Lesbian Pride Month. Then a close friend of his, a man named Barack Obama, he becomes president. He decides to take it to a whole different level, and he expands the proclamation to LGBT Pride Month and added representation, of course, for bisexuals and transgenders. Then Joe Biden, the great Joe Biden, he comes in, he takes it to a whole different level in 2021. He designated it as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, further inclusion for queers and ever-expanding plus community. I mean, every time there's a liberal president, they just added new letters to it. And then by today, while you're watching this, if you go and ask on ChatGPT or Google, how many days do we have dedicated to this? 125 days a year, 34% of the year is dedicated to celebrating sex and gender minorities. We even have a gay uncle day per year. If you have an uncle that's gay, you can tell him we celebrate you once a year. You can text him, send him a nice gift. But that happens in America today. Can you imagine this kind of stuff that we're talking about? This is America to you, right? So why is this important? Think about it this way. I'm gonna give you a crazy stat here for you to think about. In 1960s, do you know what percentage of Americans had a child under the age of 18? 1960 had child under the age of 18. 44% of Americans had a kid in their house under the age of 18. Okay, you know what that number is today? 24%. How do we go from 1960, 44% to today, 24%? And then this becomes a movement that we're kind of like supporting. And then people are sitting there saying, well, Americans are not having a lot of babies. We need illegal immigrants to come over here because we need labor. We need workforce. Or maybe we need to sit here and say, hey, listen, guys, awesome. You chose to be gay. It's your private life, whatever you want to do. We don't need to say, I don't need to advertise what I like to do in the bedroom myself. It's none of your business. Just like whatever you want to do in your bedroom, it's none of my business. Do whatever you want to do. Go buy whatever sex toys, man, woman, do whatever you want to do. You don't need to advertise it. That's for you. Let's give you 1 day per year. We can put it on February 30th. We can give any kind of a day for you to choose. Obviously, I'm giving you a hard time. I know the map. I'm a Syrian. We came up with a lot of this stuff. But you need 125 days? Seriously? And we're wondering why, we went from 44% to 24%? Seriously, from 44? Why don't we recognize parents? Why do we recognize moms, dads for what they're doing? Why can't we do that? Why aren't we doing that part? What do you think would happen is for every day, we put a single father day, okay? We recognize fathers that are not deadbeat fathers. They raise their kids. What if we put all these different things that we recognize, kids, parents, working together, nucleus family? We're not doing that. So of course, when you recognize these types of numbers, and then now you hear percentages that were being fed. Did you know 9.3% of the US population as of Gallup poll 2025 part of the LGBTQ community? 9.3%, I don't remember that. When I went to high school, our school had 4,400 kids. Maybe we had 5 kids that were gay, maybe. Yes, we had a couple gay students. Yes, we kind of knew who it was. 9.3%, you know what that means? You mean to tell me 440 kids were gay? Really? You think so? Or is this starting to convert and advertise and get into schools and all this other stuff? Is that what happened here? Right now, you're seeing all the numbers on funding for gay pride and Pride Month stuff that's declining, and all across San Francisco, all these other places, they used to get more money, they're not getting it anymore. Is it because they're afraid? Or is it getting to the point that some people are saying, look, man, can we just go back to common sense? Do whatever you want to do in your personal life. It's not my business. It's not. But you came from a man and a woman who chose to have a kid, okay? That's how that happened. We need to recognize more of that. Husband and wives, families. If we do that, we have a fighting chance of bringing that number back up to us, having 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 kids per, versus we're down to 1.9, 1.7. And the moment you're no longer at 2.1, it starts going like this. That's kind of where we are today. So you may or may not agree with what I'm saying. This is history telling you. So guess what? If you know somebody, part of the Genovese family, call them right now, saying thank you, Uncle. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I did another video a couple years ago about the dark side of the LGBTQ, who's funding it, the money, the dark money, where it's coming from. You'll enjoy watching this video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye, bye-bye.